Hello and welcome to a new episode of Rams Revealed. I'm your host, JB Long, and here in 2024, we are presented by Sleep Number, the Rams sleep and wellness partner. And our guest this week is a rookie kicker, Joshua Karty, off to a great start and here to preview this week's matchup with the Green Bay Packers. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Josh or Joshua? Which do you prefer?
Either's good. Most people call me Josh.
Okay, I'll go with Josh. I'm glad it's not like one of those Matt or Matthew things where like you get fined for calling Stafford Matt around here. So
do you actually?
I don't know if that's true or not, but he prefers Matthew.
I haven't made the mistake yet.
Your preference is not as strong, but we'll go with Josh. All right, how's everyone doing around here at 1-3, coming back from Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're doing better than probably most other 1-3 teams in the league. We know that. At least I believe, this is the worst we're going to be all year. We have the guys, we have the coaches, and just the leadership all around that to make a push, for the Super Bowl. And we know the chances and opportunities are there. So I think, we've had some adversity this year, obviously with the injuries and stuff. And even, last week with the 49ers, we turned around after things were feeling pretty low. So every week's independent. Now all our focus is on Green Bay, and we'll just go from here.
Let's talk a bit about the first month of your professional career, including yesterday in Chicago, 4 for 5. What was it, wind on the first miss of the year, a little bit of laces? What do we have there?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a combination of a couple of factors. Just with the snapper, the holder, myself, all three of us could have done a little bit better with that one. You want to know the nitty-gritty details and stuff?
I mean, why not? We don't get to talk with the kicker very often on this show.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. First off, what's taken for granted is the snapper has a tough job every single kick, and they're supposed to succeed every single time, just like the kicker's supposed to make every single field goal, and the holder is supposed to have a good hold every single time. But so the snapper is supposed to snap it so that the holder catches the ball with the laces already pointed at 12 o'clock, the direction that we're kicking. So laces out, and if anyone else just tries to snap a ball, it's tough. You can't control where the laces are. So that's something that they all practice, and get really consistent at. And so it's hard to do, 100 out of 100 times. And so the laces were a bit off on that one. And the holder, Ethan, he did his best to try and put the ball down. And it's a little bit of communication on all of us about what to do in situations like that, where you want the laces to be, if they can't be perfect, where you want them to be, to the side towards you. And then it was also on myself. I was a little bit fast on that one. I clocked in at about 1.2 seconds flat from the time to snap to kick, which is a little bit faster than I'd like to be. Normally I'm at about like 1.28. So it just gives me a little bit less time to see the ball. So I kind of did that to myself a little bit. And then, I didn't hit the best hit, but it was magnified by just things that I could have done better. There's a learning experience there for sure for all of us. And Chicago's a fun place to kick. There's other variables. There's wind. You gotta choose targets in every kick, and but like you said, 4 for 5, so first miss of my career, and now it's just about bouncing back from it and moving on to the next game.
I think I just learned more about kicking in one answer than in my entire lifetime combined previously. That was overwhelmingly precise, and it gives me a new appreciation for like what has to transpire for what we consider a gimme field goal in the NFL to actually go through. Natural grass, kind of your comfort zone, given all your days at Stanford?
Yeah, sure. We practice here on grass too every day, and so I really have no preference. And all the fields are generally pretty good in the NFL, whether it is grass or it is turf, as long as it's flat. It's good.
All your tee boxes are flat, right?
Yeah. There's nothing like going to Oregon State in college and in Corvallis, and the field is just like a mountain because of all the rain that they get, and yeah, if you're on the right hash, you're kicking like downhill. If you're on the left hash, you're kicking uphill.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but all the fields in the NFL are pretty solid, I think.
You made the segue for me perfectly. Let me brag on your college resume just a little bit, including as a senior hitting 23 field goals, most in a single season in Stanford history. You're the program's all-time field goal percentage leader at 85% as a Cardinal. School record 61-yard field goal in the 125th big game a couple years ago, right? So you got some rivalry chops, and you added to your legacy in your first game against the 49ers. I know you've already put it in your rearview mirror, but can we reflect on it just a little bit? What was that like to walk it off essentially at SoFi Stadium?
Yeah, sure. It was a great experience, a lot of fun. And it's just, was really happy to get the win and celebrate with the guys. And it definitely helps to start on a good foot, with the team, with the organization and the fan base. A lot of fun, winning the game, and then not a whole lot of time to celebrate. I mean, you go straight into the next week, and that's the thing about the NFL is it's a long season, and so you can't really get caught up in what's going on in the past too much.
How was it to have Matthew Stafford in his 16th NFL season, go into the Hall of Fame someday, have the presence of mind to say, you know what, the rookie deserves the game ball right here?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I mean, I will say there's nothing like, being on the sideline, getting ready for that game-winning kick or, game-tying kick, whatever it may be, just knowing that, you got, a guy of that caliber leading your team, just the belief, like even in yesterday's game, the belief that I had and that everyone had on the sidelines, you can definitely feel it, that whenever he's on the field that, we're going to get into field goal range, we're going to get a touchdown, whatever we need at the end of the game. And so it's a lot of fun. It's a privilege being on the team with him and just, knowing that we have a chance no matter who we play.
The backstory there is you were questionable all week with your injury. We didn't know if you would go for the home opener. Sean McVay said you only kicked 8 times on that Friday preceding. Like that was your week of work?
Yeah, I was joking. It's like a vet week pretty much. But, I kind of kept it real low. Was held out of a lot of the team stuff and practice, and then just kind of did a check a couple of days before the game to make sure I was ready to go. And I felt good enough, so I just went from there.
What's like an average kicking volume if you're 100% healthy?
Yeah, so it's a little bit different for everybody. For me, I normally go, 2 full days a week, which is about 20 plus kicks each day.
Okay.
Because, it's like being a baseball pitcher where you need to manage your load every single day. And if you use the same muscles over and over again, then you're going to wear yourself out, which I probably did in my first couple weeks, after fall camp and stuff like that. So just being smarter, talking with the trainers and the coaches, creating a sustainable long-term plan that, is the best for everybody.
I understand your family missed that game, like out of solidarity. They were also going through some family injuries. What can you tell us was going on behind the scenes with the Kartys?
Yeah, no, it was tough. The only game that I've never had my mom and dad there for both of them. My mom made every single game in college, and my dad made every single one except for 2 of them. And he's always flying back and forth because he's a professor at Elon University and he can't miss class. Or he gets in a lot of trouble if he misses class for football, which I'm always like, come on, just just give them all A's, do whatever you want. You've been there for 22 years, you're fine. Just give them all A's, come to the game. But so he's still come to a lot of games. He came to the last game, and then he flew like a red eye back and got home at really late and then whatever. My mom, she hurt her back a little bit a couple weeks ago. So that's why she wasn't able to come. My dad was taking care of her, but would have loved to have him there. But just really, really happy they're all doing fine, doing well, and just recovering a little bit.
Your hometown is listed as Burlington, North Carolina. Is that where they
That's right.
still reside?
Yep.
Everybody okay with the storm?
Yes, we were fine. So it sounds like it mostly what Hurricane Helene came up or down through Georgia, then up towards like the western tip of North Carolina, and I heard like near App State and Boone, that's where like most of the damage is. So I have some friends who like were in college there, and the situation was pretty grave, but it actually kind of was fine where we were.
To all those impacted who happen to be Rams fans and catching this show, we send our best. I thought of a question for you this morning when my 4-year-old was dragging his feet trying to go to school, or I was trying to get him to go to school. And he had it in his mind that he wanted to wear one Croc with no socks and then socks and sneaker on his other foot. And I know he's a big Rams fan. I couldn't figure out where he might have got that. And I think it might have been watching you kick field goals with one white and one black cleat. What's the backstory there?
Well, I apologize if I'm giving him any misguidance in his early school days. But so the right cleat is a soccer cleat and the left cleat is a wide receiver football cleat. And so the reason for that is, I mean, all the kickers wear soccer cleats on their kicking foot. But some wear a different cleat on their plant foot for like more support and stability when they come into their plant. And so the football cleat has more studs, and so the studs are longer. So, should hopefully have more stability when I come in to kick the ball.
I figured it wasn't a fashion statement, but you pulled it off really well. The other characteristic that we have observed is this two-step approach, right? You mentioned your time to the football. Where did that start, and why do you think it's an important part of your process to be quick to the ball?
Yeah. So I want to reiterate, I don't want to be quick to the ball.
Got it.
It's just if you're too slow, you'll get blocked. So if you take more than about 1.32 seconds, then edge rushers can come around and block the ball, as well as the guys in the interior. They can get more penetration and get closer to you. So you'd have to hit a higher kick, but it's more about those edge rushers. So I want to stay in the higher 1-2s to give myself basically the most amount of time to see the ball without being blocked, because I really only get to see the ball for about half a second tops. 0.3 of a second, 0.2 of a second in the same spot, as do like all the kickers. So it's a tough thing to do in general, and so that's why when there's any variances in stuff that you do or outside conditions that, you just got to adapt to make the best of things and succeed.
Really about giving yourself more time to put eyes on the football and shortening up that portion of your process.
That's right. Yep. So the two-step approach, though, changed to that when I got to college. My special teams coordinator at Stanford, who recruited me, Pete Alomar, he just kind of changed me one day. It was like, hey, I was a 3-step approach, which is the alternate way that a lot of guys do, where you take a step with your left foot first when you go to kick. And so he's like, hey, your first step's not really doing much for you. Why don't you just switch to a 2-step and just eliminate that variable altogether? And so, I mean, you've seen guys like, Matt Gay and Harrison Butker succeed with it, and a lot of other guys too. And it's really just, it takes out a variable of like, sometimes that first step can be a couple inches, maybe it could be a few more inches, depending on, where you're set up or something. So just take out that variable, and that's what it's all about, is trying to have the least amount of variables at all times.
Still got plenty of range, though, and power behind it. 20 years from now, when your hopefully illustrious NFL career is behind you, what do you think your career long might be? Like, where's your outer boundary of confidence where you want Sean McVay to say, Josh, go get it?
Yeah, I mean, so I think those are two slightly separate questions.
I'm good at that. I can give you 3 if you want, but go ahead and take them in whatever order.
If I look back, I'd like to be like, obviously the dream is, 67-yard field goal, set the record in the NFL. Like that's the dream. I'd be lying if I said anything else. And it's feasible. I mean, in pregame and stuff, I have the leg for 60 plus, just depending on, what the conditions are. And, especially with just like, how kickers are kind of evolving. I mean, you see Aubrey just kick a 65 in the middle of the first quarter, which is kind of unheard of, and it was pretty cool to watch. But I think the record will be broken pretty soon. And, end of game situation, really want to be, a 65 and in type of guy that's just like, get me to the 45 or, 47-yard line, and, we got a chance. And I'll just give a good hack at it and try to get the distance and keep it straight.
Since you mentioned it's your goal, it's your dream to set the NFL record, why don't we go to the wind down, which is brought to you by Sleep Number. Each week here on Rams Revealed, we get insight into how sleep and recovery impacts performance in the NFL. Because you're here, I thought it'd be interesting to know, like, do you dream of kicking?
Yes, I do. And, sometimes I might get a little violent and physical with it if someone else is in the bed and, might let out a little kick or something. But I dream about soccer a lot and about kicking a lot, actually. Because my old days in soccer, I just have random dreams still where I'm kicking the ball a lot. And I do remember I had a dream about kicking like a couple of nights before. And sometimes they're good, and it's like, oh, I make everything, and I wake up feeling pretty good about myself. And then sometimes it's like I miss something in my dream, and I'm like, all right, forget that one. But yeah, I kick in my dreams fairly often.
I bet. Yeah, I hope you don't wake up in any cold sweats like I do when I have broadcasting nightmares. But your reality's been excellent so far, and we're glad to have you with the Los Angeles Rams. Let's finish with the final couple of questions and then get you off to your off day in preparation for the Packers. When you're not kicking, I hear that you have a hobby. Namely, you were the founder and president of your prep school's ping pong club.
Is
correct. That what you're best at besides place kicking?
I'm semi-retired in ping pong, to be honest. There's no one to play against anymore. But back in college,
for lack of competition.
Somewhat. I guess you'd call it not like that. But there's nowhere to play anymore either. Like, we don't have a ping pong table here. That's my one ask for the facilities here. If we get a ping pong table in the locker room, that'll be pretty cool.
And then all public challengers, right? Fans of Rams Revealed
sure.
who want to come in and give you a game.
I'm not terribly good. I mean, my brother beats me still, that's for sure. He's really good actually. But yeah, I founded the ping pong club just before COVID in high school, and then we had to kind of stop hosting meetings because the pandemic hit. But it was a lot of fun. And then in college, we had a ping pong table in our lounge room, in the locker room. And freshman, sophomore year, I was in there nonstop, hour or two a day just playing ping pong, especially in fall camp. And then a couple of the guys graduated. I didn't have much competition anymore and had to kind of throw in the towel with that. But I actually did join the club team at Stanford for like a couple weeks, but then realized, it was during season. So I was like, I can't do this. Can't take a bus and travel somewhere and play ping pong when I have practice and stuff. So I was like, it was pretty short-lived.
Only Stanford would have a traveling ping pong club.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd be surprised, probably. Be surprised.
You mentioned your brother along the way there, Jacob?
Yep, Jacob.
You mentioned he's a great soccer player, too. Who's got the better leg between you?
Oh, I've got soccer, for sure.
You do?
He's got the hand-eye coordination sports like tennis and ping pong, maybe pickleball. We'll see. We're still figuring that one out.
And what about this world championship in robotics?
Yeah. Yep.
That's real.
Mm-hmm.
What did he do?
He pushed a button. No, I was kidding. He was part of a team where they, I think it's called like the first robotics competition. I don't know what the official title's called, but it's the whole, like every high school in the country and the world like competes at it. In his high school, his team won. And in the actual competition, like he was just pushing the button because that's all. It controls itself. It's like autonomous, but like he pushed the button to start it. So I joke about that. But yeah, I mean, he's a really bright guy. My dad went to Stanford and got his PhD there too, and we were really hoping my brother would get into Stanford, and he should have, but he didn't. But we would have loved to have him there. He's definitely bright and smart enough to be there.
I'm imagining Jacob on another show somewhere being like, what does your brother do for a living? And he's like, oh, he just kicks a football. That's it. Every now and again. That's it.
I remember a quote from Jet Toner, who was the kicker at Stanford before I was, in a like local Hawaii newspaper when he got his offer to go to Stanford. It was like he was saying like, oh, I get a full scholarship to try and kick a ball between two yellow poles. And he's like, yeah,
simple as that.
As simple as that, I'll take that all day long.
Last thing here. We have a little bit of a surprise for you. Our trainee fair has been sketching our guests each week on the grease board. I just found out about this maybe an hour ago. So first of all, what do you think about
I
the
think
Joshua
that's
Karty?
Pretty complimentary? What is
that? Complimentary?
Complimentary, yeah. Definitely.
You're flattered by it.
I'm flattered, definitely.
I'll put it here for our audience. You can take a look too.
My chin looks pretty good. I have a nice square jaw.
So what are we thinking? Like 9 out of 10?
I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
I'm not exactly for resemblance, but 8, 9 out of 10 for resemblance. 10 out of 10 for looks, though. I think they did me good here.
Amazing connection here. I don't know if you remember this, but Samuel Lechuga from Mexico City, actually her cousin who came to the United States and stayed with your family.
Right?
Yes.
Yep.
There she is. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Rams Revealed, making connections globally and including here in Woodland Hills with the Rams. Thank you, Josh. It was good to get to know you a little bit. We'll go with Josh from now on. Deal?
Deal.
All right. For
Appreciate
Josh, his 10 out of 10 portrait on JB Long. And this is Rams Revealed, brought to you by Sleep Number.